Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Valentine's Carpaccio. That's right, a meat heart for your sweetheart. So I've received many food wishes for Carpaccio, so I figured what a great time to show it. Alright, so we're going to start with some beef tenderloin, filet of beef, fully trimmed. Absolutely no silver skin, no visible fat on the outside. Okay, besides the beef, you're going to want a very sharp knife. And what we're going to do is we're going to slice across the grain into thin slices. Now, you don't need to make them paper thin here because we're going to pound this. So just try to get nice even slices. You can just see how gorgeous that beef is. You're going to want to go to a very reputable butcher and get a very, very high quality piece of beef because we're going to eat this raw. So we don't want to mess around. Don't be buying any of that meat from that guy named Tony that sells it out of the trunk of his Camaro. This is not the recipe to save a few bucks. All right, once our beef is sliced, I'm going to take a spray bottle and put a little bit of water down on the cutting board. Then I'm going to lay a piece of plastic over and the water is going to help that stick and keep it very steady. Then I'm going to take my slices of beef and form a heart shape. Now, it does not have to be perfect because we're really going to shape this on the plate, but you want to get it close. It's definitely okay to overlap the meat a little bit. We're going to pound this. And don't do too much. All right, Carpaccio, you want a very small portion. This is only going to be maybe 2 ounces of beef. So if you put too much on here, by the time you pound it thin, it's going to be bigger than your plate. So be careful with the portion. I'm going to go ahead and lay another piece of plastic over that. I'm going to take my meat pounder and gently give it the old tappa. And we want it all the same thickness. And we want it about 1/8 of an inch thick. So I'm just going to keep going around and around until it's all uniform. All right, at that point, we're going to go ahead and peel off the top layer of plastic. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to flip this over onto a plate without messing it up, okay? So peel off the plastic, put your hand underneath, and just plop it down on a plate, meat side down, of course. Peel off the plastic, and then we're just going to go around with our fingertips and help shape it into a more perfect heart. So we had it pretty close. But we are going to go around and just make it a little more perfect. Now, once you have what you think is a very nice heart shape, put a piece of plastic over the top, take your meat pounder again, and this time we're just going to give it a little press. All right, we don't want to wreck our shape, and I don't really want to flatten it out anymore, but I just want the surface to be nice and smooth. You see that? Because that's going to make it look very cool when we serve this. And that's ready. So you can prep that part ahead of time. Those can sit in the refrigerator for hours, waiting for your romantic dinner. All right, so I'm going to throw that in the fridge until needed. When I am ready to serve, I'm going to need what's called a citronette. We've made these before. So I'm just going to do some lemon juice, a little Dijon, and some extra virgin olive oil. Not too much. I think this dressing should be very tart. So I have just about equal portions of lemon juice and oil. We're going to season this up with a little bit of salt, pepper, cayenne. All right, I'm going to take a whisk and emulsify that. By the way, you drizzle oil in, people. When you have mustard in a dressing, you can skip that step. You can mix everything together because there's something in the mustard, lecithin, I believe, that actually helps emulsify this. So just whisk it up. And you're going to have a beautiful dressing. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. And then the last step here is a little arugula salad to garnish, capers, and then some shaved Parmesan. The real stuff, of course. All right, these little bitter greens are very traditional with Carpaccio. You want something very bracing as far as a garnish to match that buttery soft raw beef. All right, I'm going to drizzle in a little bit of the dressing just to moisten that. This is optional. You can just dress the entire plate at the end. But I like to do a little bit on the salad first. And by the way, should you find out ahead of time if your Valentine's willing to eat raw meat before you plan this menu? Probably not a bad idea, but hopefully they're down with that. For final assembly, peel your plastic off. Put a little pile of your arugula salad in the center. I'm probably going to shave a little more Parmesan over the top. We're going to season with freshly ground black pepper and definitely a very generous sprinkling of sea salt or kosher salt. You want something that has a flake, right? That has a nice big crystal. You want to see the salt. And then last but not least, we're going to drizzle on a little more of the dressing. And there you go. Valentine's Carpaccio, a meat heart for your sweetheart. I will never get tired of saying that. So not only is this a clever and very gorgeous Valentine's first course, it's delicious. That unbelievably tender, buttery beef, right? The bitter arugula, the briny capers, that nutty, salty hit from the Parmesan, that citronette. Just a great, great combination and a wonderful way to start off any romantic dinner. So anyway, I hope you give that a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more information as usual. And as always, enjoy.